All right, let's get right into it. Every great idea starts out as this raw, kind of soulful thing. But here's the real question. How does it actually survive first contact with reality? Today, we're going to walk through the fascinating story of how one of these creative concepts gets pressure tested, broken down, and then forged into something so much stronger. And it all really kicks off with this brilliant insight from Flannery O'Connor. Think about that for a second. The whole act of writing, it isn't just about putting down what you already know. No, it's a tool for discovery. It's about actually meeting yourself on the page. Just hang on to that idea, because it's the absolute heart of the project we're about to unpack. So every project starts with a spark, right? In this case, it was a really personal one. It came from a desire to help people connect with maybe the most important person in their lives, themselves. The first version of the idea was beautifully simple and totally heartfelt. It was called The Book of You. And the mission? Well, it was to give people a way to author their own life story. Not for anyone else, just for them. The whole point was to create a space for a self-hosted conversation, away from all the performance and public pressure. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Instead of bubble wrapping his new idea, the creator did the exact opposite. He practically begged for a full-on critique. He asked someone to play devil's advocate, not to kill the concept, but to sharpen it, to give it the kind of rigor it would need to actually survive out in the world. And that brings us to the trial by fire. This is that Socratic pressure test, the thing that separates a nice, well-meaning idea from an idea that can actually make a difference. And let me tell you, the critique that came next was tough, but it was absolutely essential. The whole argument of the critique boiled down to this one powerful idea. A soulful idea without a spine is doomed to fail. You can't get to the really deep stuff with just good intentions. You need structure. Without it, people just freeze up. Ambiguity paralyzes. So, the critique started coming in hot and fast. First up, is this actually new? I mean, let's be real. The self-help market is absolutely flooded with books telling you to write your own story. So how is this different? Is it a real compass, or is it just another set of journaling prompts with a catchy title? Next question, will people actually do the work? This is asking for some deep, vulnerable stuff. In our crazy, distracted world, are people really going to commit the time, the energy, and frankly, the courage to do it? Or is this just going to become another one of those well-intentioned books that just collects dust on the nightstand? And this gets to the biggest challenge of all. Where's the framework? How do you know you're making any progress? A soulful concept is great, but if there's no clear structure, no sense of transformation from a before to an after, it's really just a collection of nice thoughts. And finally, there was this really subtle but incredibly important point. A lot of people don't feel like they're entitled to write their own story. They feel like they have nothing important to say. So, could this whole premise of authoring your life accidentally push away the very people who need it most, just because they don't believe they're worthy of holding the pen? Okay, that was a pretty brutal critique, right? But this is where the magic happens. Because out of the fire of all those tough questions, a powerful new framework started to take shape. The idea wasn't killed, it was clarified.
The first aha moment was a huge one. See, the creator had written another book, The Playground Principles, which was all about public victories, how we connect with other people. And he suddenly realized the Book of You wasn't some totally separate idea. It was the essential prequel. It's the private victory of connecting with yourself that has to come first.
And that insight led to this core ethos, the foundation for the whole project. Number 1, connection with self is oxygen. You need it to breathe. 2, storytelling is the bridge. It's what takes your internal understanding and makes it useful out in the real world. And 3, connection with others is currency. But here's the crucial part. You can't earn the currency if you're not breathing the oxygen first. Then, a cultural muse came along to anchor the whole thing. The creator was listening to Bruce Springsteen's autobiography and had this realization. The boss built his entire legendary career by turning the stories of his youth, some happy, some painful, into art. And that just shows you that telling your own story isn't some self-indulgent exercise. It's a powerful, even liberating act. So with all these breakthroughs, the private victory idea, that core ethos, and the Springsteen inspiration, the idea was finally ready to be forged into its final shape. It was about to transform from this abstract concept into a really practical and accessible invitation.
That tough feedback about needing structure, it led to a major shift. The idea of writing a big, sprawling book got thrown out. In its place, a lean, focused, 4-session mini-course. Suddenly, it felt less like a monumental task and way more like a manageable journey you could actually start.
And here's the tangible result. Look at this. Each session is anchored by a really powerful quote. Session 1, Start Where You Are, with Arthur Ashe. Session 2, Why This Matters, with our friend Flannery O'Connor. Session 3, Connecting the Dots, with Steve Jobs. And Session 4, From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, with Viktor Frankl. The abstract soul finally had a concrete spine. And to make it totally, completely non-intimidating, the core practice was boiled down to just this: the 18-minute ritual. Not hours of soul-searching, just 18 minutes. It's a specific, kind of quirky number that's long enough to matter, but short enough that anyone can do it. It makes the whole thing feel achievable.
So after this whole journey of forging an idea, what's the ultimate lesson here? Well, it really comes down to its practical value. It's all about answering that one question everybody has. So what? What's in it for me? And the answer is surprisingly concrete. This practice of self-authorship, it isn't just for you. It actually prepares you to be clearer and way more authentic in a job interview. It makes you a more grounded leader. It helps you have deeper, better conversations with your family, with your grandkids. Knowing your own story makes you more effective everywhere else. And we're going to end on this really powerful thought that kind of reframes the whole journey. Maybe the pressure isn't on finishing some huge masterpiece about yourself. Maybe the real win is just in remembering that you have a story worth telling, that there is a book of you, and it's always waiting to be written. The goal isn't to finish it, it's just to begin.